All right, what's up, everyone? This is the Osmo.com Hit the Ice show. Myself and Steve Homercleese Bauer back again to talk about the 8-game slate. Happy NBA Christmas Day to all of you if that's your sport. We're still going to be doing NHL every day around this time. Steve, how are you doing this morning? Or this afternoon, I guess. What do you think about the slate overall?
I'm not doing too bad. This seems like a pretty nice slate. There's a lot of options once again. 8 games, and there's a lot of good teams playing tonight. A lot of high-end talent. So it's going to be interesting to see, where everyone's going to go with ownership in that. But I don't think it's going to come into play tonight. So yeah, just looking forward to it.
Yeah, a couple really high totals, specifically one, and that's actually going to be the game that we'll start off on the top. This stream will go for about 50 minutes. We'll try to start closer to 4 Eastern now that we've got basketball and we can't just kind of go however long we want. So there will be an NBA show after this. I believe it's going to come on right after. But you guys will have a ton of NBA content if that's what you're looking for. All right, let's go to Vancouver and Pittsburgh. We're going to start it off. I'll pull it up on the screen. You guys see the implied totals up there. Vancouver 2.7, Pittsburgh 3.7. I think it's even a little bit higher than that, so that's probably going to get updated. We've got Anders Nilsson going up against Casey DeSmith. No Matt Murray for the Penguins. Nilsson, I know, has had a couple big outings already this season, but I don't really think goalies are the interesting talking point here. It's going to be Pittsburgh. What kind of ownership do we see on them? We've got Derek Brassard on the top line with Sidney Crosby and Jake Gensel. So Brassard provides some salary savings, and just the big total is going to get people on Pittsburgh. People love to play Pittsburgh in DFS. It's understandable. They're one of the highest paced teams. Where are you at on these top 2 Pittsburgh lines in this game, Steve?
Yeah, it's interesting. They moved Derek Brassard up to the top line with Crosby, and we don't have a ton of data on that combo, but I can't see that being a bad thing for him. So yeah, I mean, both are in a good spot here. The Malkin and Kessel line's been doing most of the damage lately, and they're a bit cheaper, or at least Malkin's a bit cheaper than Crosby. So I see ownership kind of going there slightly, but doesn't mean that you can't like the top line there. The one thing with Vancouver is they're taking so many penalties. So I think this is just a great spot for the Penguins' power play. The only downside is that they're all pretty expensive, and you have guys from 3 different forward lines there. So they're kind of an interesting team for stacking as far as that goes. So probably the most ideal stack tonight for Pittsburgh would be Malkin, Kessel, Letang. You get 3 guys, they play together at both strengths. That's probably where I would go if I had to make a choice. But I'll have exposure to both lines, obviously, in MME formats.
Yeah, I'm going to be on both lines for sure. They're not popping a ton on FanDuel for me using my projections, but I'm going to try to force them in via the power play stack. It just gets really expensive really quick on both sites. On DraftKings, you got Letang at 6,400, one of the top defensemen of the night, but kind of tough to fit in when you're trying to get in Malkin and Kessel, Crosby, these kind of guys that are also expensive in their own right.
Yeah.
So I think Pittsburgh, great spot. I'll probably be coming in closer to the field on both of the lines. I think we're going to see Malkin and Kessel on DraftKings be higher owned a little bit. But you can't really go wrong with either of these lines. Nothing bad to say about either of them. As far as the matchups in this game, Pittsburgh's probably going to roll lines. I don't see... actually, I had it as Crosby against the Vancouver top line. So...
Yep.
I'm thinking of a different team, but yeah, seeing Pittsburgh 1 against Vancouver 1 is what I had written down. So is that what you have?
Yep. Yeah, based on recent games, they had the Crosby line against the Carlson line for Vegas when they played at home last game. And it seemed like pretty hard matching as far as all the lines go.
Okay.
So you can expect the Malkin line to be on the Vancouver second or third line there, whatever they deem to be their second best line.
Yeah, no Elias Pettersson.
Vancouver, that kind of hurts.
Yeah, for sure.
That's too bad because that's how I'd like to run it back if he was in the lineup, is that second line. But
okay, no interest in the top line with Besser?
Well, so now, yeah. So the thing is, Pittsburgh's not great defensively either. We've seen them get picked apart quite a few times this year. Mm-hmm. So they're nothing special. But looking at, as far as Pittsburgh goes, I think their top line is probably their best defensive line. They're not special, but I think they're slightly better than the Malkin Kessel line on the defensive end. And nothing really stands out as far as the numbers for Horvat, Besser, and Berchi at even strength. They're not generating a ton of shots. They're not generating a ton of high-quality chances either. But what is appealing is they all play together on the top power play unit. So, or most of them. Now it looks like they made a slight change that Besser's not there. I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Really?
We've got him. I see Goldobin and Virtanen on the top unit. That seems horrible.
That's got to get switched, right? There's no way that they stick with that.
That's just bad.
That seems absurd, having your best goal scorer not on the top unit, unless they're just trying to go complete balance, which I don't know why you want to do that. It's not like they're deep.
There's no point in doing that on the power play. There's no point in doing it. When you have two shitty units, you might as well just stack one up.
Exactly. Give them a minute 30 and give them a chance to get it done. But anyways, I don't know. I would assume you see Besser and Horvat and with Berchi on that top power play at some point.
Probably, yeah.
But the quarterback that would go with them is Alex Edler, who's 5,900. I mean, he's fine for me. He didn't come up a lot, running some early crunches. And then kind of a punt guy is Derek Pouliot for 2,600, second power play. If Besser is indeed going to play there, that's pretty nice for assist equity. I mean, you're just looking for a guy to run into an assist or two at 2,600. So he's going to end up in some of my lineups. And then I will be running it back a little bit with Besser, Horvat, Berchi, just for even strength correlation.
So one thing that's interesting, like Edler is a really good guy for shot blocks, and I think especially in this matchup, he usually plays against the other team's top lines on the road. He'll usually stick, I guess, with the Horvat line to counter whoever's matching them.
Okay.
And one thing I noticed with the Horvat line is they have a really, really terrible Corsi against per 60, so they're giving up a ton of shot attempts. But their Fenwick against, their unblocked shot attempts, are not bad at all. So that means they're getting a lot of shots blocked when they're on the ice, and mainly Edler there. So I think he's a great play for block shots, but at 5,900, I think he's priced appropriately, and I don't think he can really get there on shot blocks alone tonight. So if you look at his numbers so far this year, he's blocked 5, 7, 4, 8, 5.
I was just looking at that.
It's insane. So, if he has that kind of floor, that floor is great. If he can chip in with some offense there, and then this game has a pretty high total. So I think he's a pretty strong play tonight, actually.
Yeah, I like that. So I'm a little bit higher on Edler. I'll probably give him a boost in the projections once we get off of here. Anything else to talk about in this game?
Goldobin I really like as a one-off there at 3K. I don't love him, but he's interesting there, given that if he might be on that top power play unit.
Okay.
With those guys, he's only 3K, gets the slightly better even strength matchup. So I don't know much about his center, Gaudette. He's really cheap.
He is. He's an A value in Osmo's rankings. So take that for what you will. He's 2,700. Looks like
I think he's talented. He was the Hobie Baker winner.
Okay.
So he's pretty good.
All right. So, man, I wonder, should we run that as a full stack? That's crazy cheap. If you like Goldobin.
So looking at the numbers, when the Goldobin with Eriksson and Pettersson were pretty strong numbers at even strength. They've been mostly sheltered, but still, it's a good matchup for them here defensively against the Malkin line. And then the depth of the Penguins, who just lost Schultz to an injury.
Yep.
So, I think that if Gaudette's not too bad, if he doesn't, if he's still going to get some ice time there, I think that's not a bad line to try out tonight if you just need some value.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I'm making a note of that, we should also note that we have a promo code going on right now at osmo.com. The promo code is Hit the Ice. I'll type this into chat in a second. But Hit the Ice will give you a free 7-day trial to any non-Fantasy Cruncher NHL package. So with that, you'll get my projections, Osmo's rankings, the NHL news and notes article, the lineup builder, which I have on the screen right now, and then Fantasy Cruncher will be available as an add-on after that. So really good stuff in the package. try it out. 7 free days. Hit the ice is the promo code. I'll make sure to mention that at the end of the show. Just got here. Dumoulin is the question. What do you think about Dumoulin?
I mean, it's not really popping to me. It's just such a big slate, 3,400. He's okay if you need a cheap guy. If you want to include in stacks there, in Penguin stacks, I'm fine with that. But I probably wouldn't play him as a one-off.
All right. That's probably it. Goalies here. I guess just Nilsson's going to see a ton of shots, and he's capable of big performances. So he's a guy as a GPP one-off if you need a super cheap guy that I would consider.
Yeah, and I think that DeSmith is priced appropriately on DraftKings considering his matchup. So I think he's a fine cash option there.
All right. Let's go to Colorado and the New York Rangers. We have Colorado on the road with a 3.2 implied total. New York with a 2.8 at home. It looks like it's going to be Varlamov against Henrik Lundqvist, who is not yet confirmed, but that's who we'd assume is going to be in. We're probably going to get a pretty low-owned Colorado one line here, which I think is appealing. They are expensive. They are on the road. So those are really the only two demerits against them, I guess. The other line that was popping for me a little bit was the Zibanejad, Kreider, Jesper Fast line, just as a cheap filler stack on DraftKings. Where are you at on this game overall, Steve?
I think they're fine. I do like the Colorado side here. Obviously, the top line would be the preferred option. They're the best bet to go for 3 or 4 goals, which is kind of what you need on a larger slate for upside. So they're the main option in this game. But I'm also intrigued by some of the numbers of the second line there and how cheap they are. The Kerfoot, Jost, and who's the other guy? Wilson line.
Yep.
So they're not a bad salary saving option there. The Rangers have been terrible among the Anaheims and the Vancouvers as far as getting peppered at 5-on-5 from a shot attempt perspective. So I think it's a good even strength matchup for them. That's perfectly fine, and they're pretty cheap as well. Rangers really bad expected goals against, and Corsi against at even strength. So definitely a team I want to target every time out.
McKinnon won't be low owned. He's been touted all day by multiple sites. Interesting.
Really?
Well, I mean, it makes sense. 3.2 total. I guess I haven't heard much talk about him yet, just today. So I'll do more digging. But I mean, I think
he'll be. If you look at the slate, look at the guys on there. We have McDavid on the slate, Crosby, Malkin in a way better matchup.
Yeah.
And then a few other decent high priced options there. I think it's kind of tough to be too high priced for McKinnon.
Yeah.
Or too high owned.
That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So the Rangers are top 5 in shot attempts against and high danger chances against per 60 so far on the season, kind of what we expected, judging by their end of season numbers last year, especially in the second half. So probably going to see a lot of shots from Colorado here. That second line is one that I'll have to look into a little bit more. They weren't really on my radar, but judging by those prices, and you said they have pretty decent numbers together.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pull them up right now, but I'll let you know in a sec.
That's a solid.
I'm interested there.
Oh, RG has McKinnon as the top play. Like cash game? Cash game play? I don't know. I mean, I did see someone tweet about him being a cash game play. I don't know if I would do that on FanDuel. But
yeah, given their home road splits, I don't think I wouldn't make him maybe my highest owned play, but I think it's a good option. That second line at even strength through about 40 minutes, that's 5 games worth. 60 Corsi for per 60, and then 28 Corsi against per 60. So that's 68 Corsi for percentage. Their expected goals for it's about 2.3 per 60, and then only 1.4 against. So pretty good. They're controlling most of the action at even strength. So if you need a value line from the same matchup, that if everyone's loving the McKinnon matchup, I think it's just as good for that line as well.
For sure. All right. Anything else that we need to hit on in this game? The Rangers
not
side.
Really.
I know you're not really on the Rangers.
Well, look at their defense. I mean, the reason why I like Colorado, just look at the Rangers defense here. It's hideous. From a defensive perspective, I mean, Shattenkirk and Shea are pretty decent offensively, but Like Adam McQuaid's their top shutdown pairing.
Yeah.
He couldn't even crack Boston top six. And then Clayson with Shattenkirk. Shattenkirk was a healthy scratch this year because he's so bad defensively. And then you got Stahl and Brendan Smith, who are way past whatever prime they had. So
one thing to note on this game, I'm seeing that Daily Faceoff doesn't have it, but I was reading some stuff on Twitter last night and this morning about Pionk being back in tonight.
Yeah, I did actually just catch that.
And so he's 2,900. He's a guy that,
he's a good kind of floor guy, right?
Yeah, I like him a lot. I mean, he shoots it quite a bit. He would probably slot into somewhere in the top 4. So he's someone to keep an eye out for at 6:30 Eastern when we get the pregame skate lines. Obviously, make sure he's in. I have him in the projections right now, and he's kind of popping as a one-off defenseman if you're running 4-3-1. So just wanted to note that. And then I do like the range a little bit, as I mentioned off the top. Let's see. Did Steve go away there? Can you guys still
scratch for 2 games?
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah. So he says he's more likely to return to the lineup after being out 2 straight games. He says, I would hesitate to keep him out for 3 straight. So I'll tip my hand there. That's what the coach said. So it seems likely that Pionk's back in.
Okay. All right, so expect him to be back in. Yeah, you cut out there for a second. I didn't know if I lost you. I don't know if the audience lost you or if it was just me. Someone in chat mentions post the 3K punts so it doesn't get asked 1,000 times. So I think Pionk would be one of my top under 3K punts. So that's a guy I just wanted to mention. Goalies here, Varlamov 8K on the road here, and then Henrik Lundqvist is 7,400 expected to start. I think Lundqvist is an interesting guy just because he is still a very good goalie. He's at home. You know he's going to see a lot of shot volume. So that's got to be the guy I target mostly in this game. Probably not getting too much Varlamov here.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. Okay, stream's back now. We're all good. Let's go to the next game. We'll go Florida and Philadelphia. We have James Reimer going up against Brian Elliott. 3 total for each side here. Some high-powered lines, a couple on Florida's side with the Barkov line and the Trocheck line, which is my favorite. And then we've got the Couturier line going for Philadelphia, who is also popping a ton for me. What do you see in this one? Kind of got some lines being jumbled around with no Nick Bukestad for Florida.
Is he officially out here?
That's the thought from some of the beats this morning.
Yeah. But, do we know? Sorry, do we have who's? Oh, Mulligan's going up with him. Okay.
Yep. So he's cheap. He's 3,700.
Yeah.
So that makes the top line super, super affordable. So I don't know. I mean, I like 3 lines in this game, the 3 I just mentioned. But Florida 2, I think, is my favorite. They're going to avoid the Couturier line at even strength. It's always nice. They'll get more time against the Wheel line and against the, I don't know how to say that guy's name, Mikhail Vorobiev?
Vorobiev.
Yeah. Anyways, so they'll avoid.
He's a rookie, yeah.
Yeah, they'll avoid the best defensive matchup, which I like a lot. So, where are you at on this game?
No, I love that call. The second line, given how things are shaking out, when Mulligan was down there, they're a good possession line, but it kind of takes away from their offensive upside. If Bukestad was still in, I'd like the top line a lot there. But yeah, they are going against the Couturier line. Interesting though, so the Couturier line is known for being a pretty good shutdown line, but their numbers are terrible so far this year. The Flyers in general are terrible this year numbers wise, and I'm not sure how much of that is impacted by that one game where they got destroyed by the Sharks. But they have the worst expected goals against per 60 at 5-on-5 in the entire league, and it's not even close. So, and then their shot attempts allowed are pretty bad as well. And Florida's been generating a lot offensively. So, yeah, it seems like a pretty good matchup for the Panthers in this one. I think both sides really. Neither are great at defense, so. Yeah, it would be top line for Philly and second line for Florida.
Agreed. That will be my highest exposure, both of those. Philadelphia
Very
won.
interesting game in general.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really high-paced game. So,
Yeah.
um,
I wonder where ownership is on this. I wonder who's talking about them today.
I was just going to ask you if you had a
Yeah.
feel for that.
I can't imagine Florida 2 is going to be super popular. They haven't really gone off yet or done anything, so.
Right. Yeah, and Hoffman is back on that line, obviously, with
that's
Morgan
great.
sliding up into the top. And they're pretty affordable, but not a price where you're going to be like, wow, this is a great value. But I just think a really fair price. They're on the road, so I agree. There's not going to be a ton of ownership there. Are you leaning more towards Ekblad or Yandel? Yandel is listed on the top power play. Ekblad on power play 2.
Yeah, Yandel for sure. More power play time. They saw a ton of power play time against Vancouver last game. Couldn't get anything done, but they did move away from that 5-man forward stack.
Yep. Just to kind of drive this home, so you were talking about expected goals on natural stat trick. The Flyers
high
are
danger
ranked
shots against.
Yeah,
they're pretty bad. Yeah.
Top 6 in high danger chances against per 60, scoring chances against per 60, and shot attempts per 60. So Philadelphia is they're just giving it up as much as they're taking it.
So this game could be a shootout.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope we see like a 7-6 game here.
Either that or we're gonna get the top goalies of the night.
Right. Yeah. So just targeting the high event games, whether it's goaltending or playing stacks from them, I think is always a good idea.
I got slightly more interested in Elliott than Reimer here.
Okay.
Just because of what Florida's done so far, they haven't really scored a ton of goals. They've been generating offense or shots, but not a lot of goals. So it's those are the kind of situations I like to play goalies against, where the volume's going to be there, but the scoring's not quite there yet.
And then I would be remiss to fail to mention Mark Pissick, our buddy Corsi in chat likes Pissick here. No Mike Matheson for the Panthers, so he's 3K. He's another one of those guys that you can play as a punt, and strictly that he probably just gets a minutes boost, and that's really the only reason to like him. Ready to go on to the next game?
Yep.
All right, let's go to Dallas and New Jersey. Dallas on the back-to-back 3.2 implied total. New Jersey at 2.9. We've got, I believe it's going to be Khudobin going for Dallas. There's no confirmation just yet. And then Keith Kincaid going for New Jersey. Very reasonably priced Keith Kincaid. So Dallas played last night. They lost to Ottawa. And now they will have a tougher matchup in New Jersey. Really only one line on each side that I'm looking at here. I don't love the depth for either side. I'd probably lean towards Dallas too if I was going there, but I doubt they end up in any sort of bunches of lineups, or you know what I'm trying to say. Anyways,
yeah. Not a high percentage there.
Yeah, exactly. I can't talk today. All right, so New Jersey won. Nico Hischier kind of had a scare yesterday, left practice early, but he skated fine this morning. So he looks to be good to go and on the top line. I know you thought that New Jersey 1 might get some steam, so talk about New Jersey 1.
Yeah, well, Paul Mary has 2 goals in each of his first 3 games of the season, so the point chasers will be after him. I believe his price is going up a bit more. He's pretty highly projected on some services there.
Yep.
So I think he'll get some ownership tonight. I think he'll be maybe a little bit more popular in the MME formats. Maybe not something like higher stakes. I think most will shy away from this type of matchup, given the rest of the slate. But yeah, I think in lower stakes MME formats, he'll probably be pretty popular. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just coming up as a decent value. The results are hard to argue with. I'm not interested in New Jersey 1 if they're going to be chalk here. So if they're going to be a top 3 on line of the night, I don't really love that. As far as line matching in this game, I think we might see the Zacha line see a bunch of time against Sagan. That's what I saw last night when I was looking. They were seeing a lot of time their last home game against the opposing top line. But I just don't really know. Like, usually they use Taylor Hall as a shutdown forward, but do you have a feel for that?
Well, so last game they had Hall line on the Couture line, and then they had Zacha line against the Pavelski Evander Kane line, right? Yeah, I see that too. Yeah, that could be the case here. We see maybe him against the second line, so that's kind of appealing in that sense.
Okay.
Going against the second Dallas line, you want to kind of avoid the top line.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I would assume it's probably split. There's probably not a crazy hard match.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I like New Jersey one, but again, just at high ownership, if Palmieri's just going to get inflated ownership at 6,800, I'd probably rather go elsewhere. And I love playing Taylor Hall and the New Jersey top line as much as anyone.
Yeah.
The Dallas side, they do have a pretty decent total at 3.2. Wait, is this flipped around? Because I'm looking at another site right now, and I'm seeing 2.8 for Dallas and 3.2 for New Jersey. So we might have it flipped on Osmo.com right now. But
yeah,
anyways,
New Jersey's the favorite.
Yeah, that did look a little bit weird when I was looking at it. Defenseman in this game, do you have anyone that you're going to have a lot of exposure to? Vatanen or Klingberg on the Dallas side?
Let me see their pricing. Yeah, Vatanen's pretty good at 5,100 right there. He, he'll block shots and shoot a little bit more. Yeah, I think he's a solid play. Butcher's cheap, but he's purely assist based on the power play. So maybe just tournament upside. I'm seeing Heiskanen shoot it a little bit more. His shot attempts are way up. Last night he was one of the leaders on the team in shot attempts. He only got 3 on net, but
okay.
So that's kind of interesting down there at 3,200. Young guy on a back-to-back. Maybe he gets more minutes. Yeah, pretty decent value there. And I think Mirko Mueller as well is a decent cheap option there. Klingberg at 6,200. I mean, he's always in play if you're playing Dallas there.
Okay.
But he's the second highest priced defenseman tonight, and New Jersey hasn't shown any leaks so far in the first couple games, so maybe not the best spot on a back-to-back.
Yeah, you're really not getting a discount at all on Dallas 1. Do you know if they're going to have Como up on the top line again?
I saw Radulov get some time there with them last night, so I'm not sure at what point in the game that was. See if I can track that down, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just put Radulov back up with them.
Yeah, I think they would. I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd probably be the optimal strategy, but who knows what these coaches have in their heads.
Let me see on the shift chart, see if I can
Okay.
figure out if they ended the game that way. You'd have to check the news, right?
Right.
Luckily, that's the early game, so we'll know. We'll know in warm-ups.
For sure. Kincaid, 7K, Khudobin, 7,600. Any of these guys coming up for you?
Kincaid sounds pretty appealing at 7K at home with Dallas on a back-to-back. They're a one-line team, right? So
Yep.
if New Jersey can kind of shut them down a bit, I think it's a pretty good spot for a favorite at 7K. And we saw what Anderson did with them against them last night.
Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot. He's going to be significantly higher owned than a guy like Nilsson, but I guess as safe as you can be in hockey. So if you're looking for a really cheap punt and just looking for a guy that's got a good chance to get the win, it would be Kincaid for me at 7K on DraftKings.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of them at that price so far.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next game. We've got Carolina and Tampa Bay. This is I'm looking at another site right now. It's got a 6.5 implied total, but it's over 6 clearly. We've got Carolina at 2.9 right now, Tampa Bay at 3.4. Peter Mrazek going for Carolina, Louis Domingue going for Tampa. I would assume we see quite a bit of ownership on Tampa's top 2 lines. Do you think more people are going to want to go to Johnson, Kucherov, Palat, or Stamkos with Point and Yanni Gourde?
That is tricky. I think we won't see a noticeable difference. What's the pricing difference? Is there a big difference there on the combined?
The point line, just eyeballing it right now. Let's see, 51,
18. What do we got?
Point line's quite a bit more expensive.
Yeah, okay.
So
I think it probably goes with the pricing.
Okay.
So I think we might see a slight edge to the Kucherov line then.
Yeah. And the point line is probably going to see the most time against Aho. And I'm seeing Tampa Bay, they're just kind of rolling lines after that.
Yeah, and I think that's the better matchup.
You want to face the Aho line, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree. We've talked a couple times about that Stahl line being crazy dominant at even strength so far this season. So they're not a line I really want to attack. And, they'll move around Kucherov. It's not like he won't see some favorable matchups here and there. But knowing that point line is going to go up against Aho, or at least that's what we assume, I really like the point Stamkos, Yanni Gourde stack here.
Yeah, I like that for sure. Are they? Let me just see. They have Stamkos as center. Okay, never mind. Points at winger. I think on FanDuel, I think Point and Stamkos are both centers. I'd have to double check that. But...
let me see.
Oh, never mind. No, they have shifted Stamkos to wing on FanDuel. Okay, that's good.
Yep.
Never mind that. Okay. I mean, I do like that top line a bit more. I'd probably go top line Tampa, second line Carolina.
So the Stahl line.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I would be right there with you. For defensemen here, we have Justin Falk, power play 1 for Carolina, and he's only 4,500. Whatever you think of Falk, he's just underpriced for a game that's probably going to be pretty high event. Carolina's done a good job, not only getting shots this year, but finishing them a lot better. So he's my preferred option on Carolina. You can pay up for $700 more for Dougie Hamilton, but that'd be more of a one-off scenario because he doesn't have the power play correlation with the lines you want. And then it's really just Hedman for me on the Tampa Bay side.
Yeah, Hedman, maybe Sergachev. I think, did he see power play time last game, or is it still McDonough here?
I'm seeing McDonough.
No, because in the actual game, last game, Sergachev was on that second unit with Point, Palat, and Johnson and Gourde all together.
All right. We've got it actually updated to Sergachev on Osmo.com too. So
okay,
good to know. 4,400. He's not a guy that shoots it a ton, or at least he wasn't in the second half of last year. I know he was in and out of the lineup. He was a healthy scratch a couple times. Has he been shooting more? Do you know that off the top of your head?
Top of my head, not really certain, but it would be a correlation play mainly.
Yeah.
If I was using him, he's more of an assist. Be more of an assist guy on that unit.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. He's fine for 4,400, but not a guy I'm going to have in a lot of lineups.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Goalies in this game: Mrazek, Domingue. Pricing discrepancy here. What's up?
Fire alarm's about to go off.
Oh, okay. I'll just keep talking. You turn on your mic when you're ready. So for Domingue, I mean, he's fine. He's a pretty decent favorite. He is 7,900 on DraftKings, so you're going to have to pay the price. Probably pretty tough to fit him in if you're going to the Stamkos Point Gordy line, or if you're going to... wait, what happened there? Oh. If you're going to... a power play stack for Tampa, it's going to be pretty tough to fit him in, especially if you're trying to get in Hedman. So that's the only issue. All right. Let's see if I can try to get Steve back on here. Sorry, guys. Building fire alarm. All right, well, we'll just keep plugging along. I don't know how long this is going to go. This has never happened. So let's go to the next game. We will go with Arizona and Minnesota. We'll try to get Steve in the chat, or whenever that fire alarm turns off. So we've got Darcy Kemper going up against Devin Dubnyk. Talk about a goalie pricing discrepancy. Kemper starting against his former team. I can't imagine that's a coincidence for Arizona here. Minnesota is on the second half of a back-to-back. As far as, get out, save yourself. As far as line matching in this game, we're probably going to see the Koivu line go up against Derek Stepan and that top line for Arizona. And then the Stahl line, we'll see lines 2 and 3 I think the Stahl line is a really good value, especially on FanDuel, not as much on DraftKings. You've got Stahl and Zucker in the mid 6Ks on DraftKings. But Greenway is super cheap on FanDuel. So when I was running crunches over there, it was really easy to get them in. They came up as one of my higher exposed stacks. What else in this game? The Arizona side, Keller with Stepan and Panik. Oh, really? Seeing Coyle up there on... Really? Let me check this out. Where did we hear that? Steve, did you hear that from a beat writer? I see that on Daily Faceoff, but where are they getting that? All right, now we're gonna do a segment called Jake Searches Twitter. Corsi not mincing words up there. All right. Coyle moved up last night. Coyle played last night. Well, I know he played last night. I was kind of half watching the game, but let me see if I can find anything on that. 5 minutes. Okay. I mean, that's pretty significant, right? So that's basically a whole period. Tifo didn't have their goalies page up until a week after the season. Not exactly reliable. Yeah, I've found that out the bad way a couple times. Let's go to Votz's list here. All in the third period too. So Boudreau's a guy who likes to mix it up. I really want confirmation on this. So I'm seeing a beat writer from 5 hours ago. No lineup changes for Minnesota Wild except in net with Dubnyk starting. No one tweeted out the... Yeah, okay. Devin Dubnyk started for Minnesota Wild tonight. No surprise there. No lineup changes other than that. I wonder if they're aware that Coyle skated with Stahl and Zucker there. Because if Coyle's up there, and he's $4,300, basically the same price as Jordan Greenway, I really like that. I think Coyle's a pretty solid player, and playing with Stahl and Zucker together, that'd be a pretty fun line. Man. So has Fantasy Cruncher changed that yet? Does anybody know that that's watching this? Where you can switch around the lines? Yeah, Stahl, Coyle, Zucker, 55. Corsi 4 per 60, 41 against. That's pretty good. All right, so... Man. So I'm going to bump up Stahl then on the projections. That's the line I want to target. I don't mind the Koivu line, but now I much, much, much prefer Stahl, Zucker, Coyle over Parise, Koivu, Granlund, who is going to be in the shutdown role against a pretty solid line in Stepan, Keller, and Richard Panik. So that's pretty much all I have for that game. As far as forwards go, defensemen, Suter and Dumba are the two guys that I'll be looking at. I think you could play any one of them with either one of the top two lines. I wish they'd put Dumba on the top power play. They like to mix it around. Right now we've got him listed on the second unit and Suter on the first. But I know they mix it around even within games. So you could probably play either one with either the top two Minnesota lines. Are we sure this Coyle shuffle to the top line isn't just because they were trailing versus Nashville and they won't go back to the original lines? Yeah, I agree with Steve there. Hard to say on a back-to-back. I just know Boudreau likes to switch stuff up in games. Really, you just never really know. So this is one you're going to want to track. This game locks at 8 Eastern. Should know around 7:30 Eastern. Coyle line 3 on Fantasy Cruncher. Yeah, can you switch that? I mean, I know you can edit it, but does it actually, when you crunch, does it actually work now? I know it doesn't work yet. Okay. So I wonder how you could get around that. Well, I'll have to figure that out after the show. But anyways, that's really all I have for the game. Dubnyk at 8,500. I mean, win equity, sure, but 8,500. If you're one-offing, like, I don't know why you'd want to get to Dubnyk for 8,500. Kemper's probably going to see a lot of shots if you like narratives. It's a low total game, whatever. I think that Kemper is the third I would prefer, or maybe even the fourth. I'd rather have Mrazek just for pure shot volume over a guy like Kemper. So the other 7K goalies like Kincaid, Anders Nilsson, those guys are going to see, I think, a lot more shots and or have more win equity. So let's move it on to Edmonton and Winnipeg. Steve, how's the alarm doing? Still going on? I'm assuming it's still. Anyways, Edmonton and Winnipeg. Let me find this game on our handy lineup builder. We have 2.6 implied total for the Oilers, 3.3 for Winnipeg. Pretty lopsided game. 200 favorites, minus 200 favorites for Winnipeg right now. That top line is pretty underpriced for Winnipeg, and they're going to get a good matchup. The McDavid line hasn't been bad defensively just yet. That's probably more to do with the matchups they've faced so far. Winnipeg one's kind of a different animal. Steve's talked about them being kind of matchup proof, one of the few lines that is matchup proof. And I agree. So all these guys in the mid 6Ks, no issue with playing any of them. We love them at home. I don't know. All these guys can't be super heavily owned. So if Pittsburgh is going to be the overwhelming chalk and everyone's going to be on McKinnon apparently, then some of these guys are going to go under owned, and they could be Winnipeg one. I don't know why that would be. The Oilers are not a good defensive team. The McDavid line is super high event. It was last year. It hasn't been just yet. But yeah, the power play one stack. Everyone in chat is everyone in chat's on it. Corsi's on it. Line a fire emoji. Winnipeg 2 is a decent value. They're going to see the road cone that is Milan Lucic and Draisaitl Yamamoto. Yeah, it's a really good matchup for Winnipeg's top six here. As far as McDavid goes, I mean, he's not going to have a lot of ownership here. Really low total. He's not super expensive, but not exactly brand names with Ratty, especially in Nugent Hopkins. So I will have some McDavid exposure just because he's McDavid, but he's not going to be a guy that I'm on heavily. Like if I'm making 20 lineups, he probably gets in one or two, but really tough to play in Winnipeg. He just kind of transcends matchups by himself. What else do we have in this game? Mentioned the second line for Winnipeg. Morrissey is listed on the top unit right now on Osmo.com. I think Daily Faceoff had him on there. I can double check that right now, but that's who I saw last. I can't remember what source I was looking at. Maybe it was Daily Faceoff. Yeah, Daily Faceoff has him. But again, they're not the gospel just yet. You never really know until you get into the game. Trouba is a guy that's popping for me a little bit. Top pairing. The only problem is they're probably going to be the shutdown pairing. Is that right, Steve? Yeah. Okay. He's nodding yes. All right. So that's my only issue with Trouba. The peripherals are pretty decent. 4,600. Osmo has him as a B value, B points grade. So decent value, but in the shutdown role, it's pretty tough against a guy like McDavid who constantly has the puck in the offensive zone. On Edmonton's side, if you are going to the McDavid line, it's Clefbaum, and really that's it for me. So that's all I got. As far as skaters go, Hellebuck is 8,400. Again, like Dubnyk, I mean, if you're going to a one-off, I don't know why you'd want to do that for 8,400 unless you just have a ton of salary left over. Shots are probably not going to be here. I think Winnipeg most likely dominates possession. So, yep, he's probably a good chance to get a win. But the Jets, oh yeah, that's a good point. They also do take a lot of penalties, Steve says. So, maybe he doesn't see a ton of shots, but a couple high danger chances here. He lets in a couple goals. You're pretty much cooked for 8,400. All right. That's about it for that game. Last game of the night, we have Buffalo and Vegas, and then we'll get out of here for the NBA guys. So you guys can degen your 2-game NBA slate. I think there's a real NBA slate tomorrow, actually. I might play, so we'll see. All right, Buffalo and Vegas. Carter Hutton going up against Marc-Andre Fleury. Homer Cleese likes Vegas a lot. Yeah, I do too. I wrote them up in the Spotlight Stacks article, specifically the top line, going up against Eichel, Sheary, and Sam Reinhart. Vegas sucks, LOL. Come on, Homer. Both lines, but line 1 preferred. All right, so we're on the same page there, me and Steve. Yeah, the second line is fine for a filler stack. You've got Heika filling in there instead of Nosek. So even more salary savings, 2,700 for. I think actually Heika was on the top power play this morning. Let me go check that though. I'm pretty sure I saw from a beat writer he was working in with Pacioretty and the Carlson line. So if that's the case, Heika's got to be one of the best values on the entire slate. Let me go check and see if I can find that. Where are the Golden Knights here? All right. Heika. All right. Anyways, you don't know how annoying this alarm is. I can only imagine. Have you been hearing that this whole time? Jeez. All right. Well, you guys can't see him, but Homer Cleese just nodded his head at me. Wow, that's fun. All right. So anything else in this game that I'm missing, Steve, if you want to chime in? The only other thing is the Middlestat line. Middlestat, not a big scorer himself, but playing with Skinner and Oposo, I think that's fine if you're looking for a pretty cheap stack. Hunt Pacioretty, as Corsi mentions. Isn't Patches with PP1 with Hunt? Maybe I'm thinking of Hunt and not Heika. That wouldn't make sense. Yeah, I'm thinking of Hunt. I don't know why those H's confuse me. Yeah, it's Hunt on Vegas ones, or on the Vegas PP1. Heika's going to be on the second unit. Brad Hunt is 3,200 B value in Osimo's value grades, as you can see there. So just another guy in that 3K range that you can use as a punt. I'm going to bump him up a little bit more in my projections after I get off of the show. I was just talking about the Middlestat line. I think they're fine as a filler. I don't really love teams going into Vegas. I don't love the team total for Buffalo, but Skinner just grades out so well for me. Oposo is a pretty decent value as well. So those are two guys that I'll play.
I think it stopped.
Are you good?
Yeah, right. We're just about the end of the show.
No, you're good. Anything else?
No, though, that's all.
Anything else that I'm missing on this game?
Nothing too much. Yeah, just big time on Vegas here. So, sorry.
All right, short-lived. Man, that is really annoying. That sounded like an animal dying. That was ridiculous.
False alarm.
Deemed this to be a false alarm.
Man, that's crazy loud. At least I'll never sleep through one, right?
Yeah.
Fleury's new gear is ridiculous. Solid gold. Oh, I haven't seen it. But anyways, so one thing I did want to mention in this game is Buffalo actually hasn't been that bad at even strength this year. Why would that continue? I know you talked about maybe Eichel just taking that next step as a player, but is there any concrete reasoning why Buffalo all of a sudden is kind of slowed the pace down, defensively especially?
Not certain, honestly. They've had a lot of moving parts last year with the injuries, so maybe things just took a while to shake out. And then slightly different line combos as well.
Yeah, I know, like, Ristolainen was an absolute disaster last year. So I don't know if he's been better, but I just saw on a team level that...
Like, they had Reinhardt playing center. He wasn't great at center. He prefers wing, so that probably hurt as well.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, just a lot of changes, you know. They got Berglund in on third line as well, so it helps their depth a bit.
Hutton, where does he rank in kind of these low-tier goalies for you? 7,300. I mean, he's not
definitely in play for GPPs. Just given Vegas hasn't been scoring a lot, they've been generating a decent amount, but just haven't been scoring. They've been a bit snake bitten. So, yeah, definitely in play.
All right, I agree. I think he's in play if you're one-offing. If you're correlating, I would go like if you're playing a Colorado 1 or Philly 1 or something really expensive, and you needed a filler stack and a cheap goalie. I think I would go with the second Buffalo line with Hutton if you're kind of doing a Hail Mary or an MME play. That's really all I have for this slate. Do you want to pick our hat tricks? We got a bigger slate here, so we got quite a few skaters to choose from. So you pick your hat trick, and then I'll mention the promo code and we'll get out.
Quick look. I think that okay, right off the bat, I want to say McKinnon, but everyone's going to say that, so. Let's go, Kessel. Can you score? No, Patrick Laine hat trick tonight.
Okay,
Patrick Laine.
there you go.
Hat-trick.
That's strong. Yeah. Man, that's a good one. I kind of like Marchessault at 7,100. For Vegas being at home in a good matchup, someone's going to be low owned, and it might be these later games with Winnipeg 1 and Vegas 1. So I like Marchessault a ton. He's shooting as much as anyone. So. That's about it. Promo code Hit the Ice gets you a 7-day free trial to any Osmo.com NHL package, not the Fantasy Cruncher ones, but any other packages. Besides that, you get access to my projections, so you can try those out for a week. Osmo's rankings that drop every afternoon for the NHL slates. This lineup builder, you've got the NHL News and Notes article, and then you can get Fantasy Cruncher as an add-on, and we both use Fantasy Cruncher every single night for NHL, so that's a tool a lot of serious NHL DFS players and just DFS players in general use. So it's available for a discounted price on Osmo.com if you buy one of our packages. Any last words of advice for the slate, Steve?
I mean, there's 8 games. There's a lot to choose from here, so I wouldn't worry so much about ownership when you're making your lineups. Just try to make solid lineups. That's all.
Yeah.
Nothing to really add. But good luck tonight, guys.
I agree. Awesome. Good luck tonight, guys. See you at the top of the leaderboards.
Cheers.